he moved in right around the corner.
With Mayor Joe, and as our special guest, we've got Chuck and Brett from the Community Association. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You guys are going to have your own wing here pretty soon. You learned that long ago. Last time we were talking about, and again, it's not to say that the 4th of July isn't fun, but honestly, it was the spaghetti dinner, so that was a little bit more, mouth-watering as far as that goes. So it was always a great event. I know I enjoyed it. I know Community did well, but we'll talk about a whole bunch of things. But first of all, I mean, it's the end of May, and the 4th of July is going to be here before you know it. We're already talking about it. So how are things coming along for the parade?
They're coming along well. We have about 26 or 27 entries. Okay. Obviously, we're still accepting entries for the parade. We'll accept them all the way up. Even the day of the parade, we will accept entries. The entries are available. There's several places they're available. They're available on the City of Reynoldsburg website underneath the Special Events Coordinator. You can go to www.reynoldsburgcommunityassociation.org and pick up an application. I think they're on the Visitors Bureau site, so there's several different places. I believe there's also hard copies in the kiosk outside of City Hall, so if you'd like a hard copy, you're welcome to come pick one up. And I believe the due date is June the 22nd. But as I said, we'll accept them all the way up till the day of the parade.
Yeah, usually it's all the, okay, how many more additional chalk numbers are we putting out after the fact? So
Right.
It's always a good thing. I like getting it a little bit earlier, so that way, you kind of know where you're at in the parade, and it's not just at the end of it or something like that. So,
Right.
That's the only thing. The later your entry comes in, is we can't guarantee how far up you will be in the parade.
Yeah.
But even if you show up on the 4th of July, we will get you in the parade. You just may be towards the end.
And just the other piece is the cost is $25 for business entries, $100 for political entries, and then if you're a 501c3 or tax exempt organization, you can participate at no cost.
Yeah, get it to those politicians. They can do it. It's $100. It's always a lot of fun, and I know one thing that always kicks it off, and I know we were just talking about it briefly. So when is, and you don't have to announce it now, but
Right.
when will everybody know who the Grand Marshal is? Because that's a pretty cool thing to be recognized by your community. When will that be released?
The plan is to release that this week. So
All
we have a subcommittee that meets and reviews all of the nominations. And thank you to everyone that nominated and participated in that. And then that subgroup selects a Grand Marshal for the 2024 parade. So they've gotten back to me, and I know who that is, and we're excited to have that person, but that'll become public later this week.
All right, so there's no truth to the rumor that it's just basically like a big spinning wheel and you throw a dart and whichever picture it lands
No,
on.
no truth to that.
Okay, all right, so it's a little bit more involved in that. So one thing that I always ask everybody is like what's the fun thing about it? Obviously, there's a lot of work that goes in planning a parade. There's an absolute huge amount, especially the day of. Even though everything goes smooth and nobody thinks that there's any issues, there's always something. So for all of you, what are your favorite parts of the parade? What is it that makes you want to do this year after year after year?
Well, for me, I think it's just watching the crowd that comes out. The crowd that comes out for the 4th of July parade, and I've been around Reynoldsburg pretty much all my life. We used to have tomato festival parades and stuff, whatever. The 4th of July parade brings out everyone, whether it be kids, older folks, veterans, whatever. And to see all the people that come out to watch and support the veterans and our country is what really does it for me.
It's a lot of fun. I agree. How about you, John?
I would just say, yeah, like Brett said, seeing the community come together and seeing all the various organizations that participate is fun. Anywhere from our business community to our marching band, which is always a huge hit, and all the different Cub Scout groups and Girl Scout groups and churches and all the different organizations and community coming together to celebrate. I think it's great.
I like it in the pre-stage, right before everybody kicks off. I try and walk as far as I can in each direction, either ahead of where we're at or behind where we're at, no matter how long I've been involved in the parade. And I like talking to everybody as they're getting everything geared up, because everybody has a reason for them, whether it's the Daughters of the American Revolution, whether it's the VFW, whether it's the Raider Marching Pride. It's all cool to see how they all come together through all of this just for this one moment of kind of like coming together to celebrate the United States.
Right.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I'm going to give you the heads up. Apparently, America's turning 250 years old in a couple of years. So, whatever, I've kind of made the joke. So, whatever red, white, and blue functions that we normally do, it's got to be redder, bluer, and whiter all the way across, in 2026. So that's going to be a huge thing. So, I always joke that I wasn't around I was around during the centennial, bicentennial. So, I'll be curious to see what it is. But that's something that we're already taking it into account now. We're looking at bigger fireworks and then all of this other stuff. So the parade will be something that we can do because again, you don't get to celebrate 250 years every day. So,
Right.
what else you got going on? Because I know that while this is a major thing, obviously we've got the Halloween stuff, and I'm really working on something cool for the Halloween.
All right.
We're working on that too.
It'll be one of those things that it's either going to be amazing or it's going to be a complete catastrophe, but it's going to be fun to do. So what do you got going on?
I think the other thing is just in an effort to continue to fundraise so we can put on these free community events. We have another fundraiser coming up on June the 11th, Tuesday, June the 11th it is, from 4 to 10 at Texas Roadhouse on Main Street. And so if you come out to Texas Roadhouse that evening and bring either the flyer, the Texas Roadhouse flyer, or you can bring it electronically, or you can mention that evening that you're there to support the community association. 10% of the proceeds from your drink and food purchases that night will be donated to our organization for community events. So we'll have a booth set up there that evening that you can hear more about our organization and opportunities for you to get involved. And so we're very excited about that opportunity on Tuesday, June 11th.
I was going to ask if other people who are watching, say, hey, you know what, maybe I could help out a little bit, things like that, and that's a great opportunity to do so.
Right.
So, question: Onion Blossom? Are you pro, con, onion blossom, or the cactus blossom that they have there?
I love them.
You love them, all right.
They're good.
There we go.
One of the other things to go along, different ways they can help is we're always looking for new members to join us.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to come to every meeting. You don't have to sponsor or work at every event. You can pick out what you would like to do. It's just the only way members, or should I say, groups like ours will continue to exist is if we can get more community activities and participation. And if you don't have community participation in different things, one thing I've noticed over the years, and I've been in Reynoldsburg, like I said, pretty much all my life, is things like this tend to die if you don't get participation. Yeah. So we welcome anyone that would like to come out and join us.
Well, it's commendable because everybody's busy. Everybody's got something going on and all of that. And for everyone in your organization, and I know I could start going down the list of so many people that I've met, for all of you to take the time to dedicate to whether it's the 4th of July, whether it's Halloween, Christmas on the Town, or all of them, all encompassing. It's a huge accomplishment. It's something that's good, and I know you guys don't do it because of the accolades and thanks, and you do it because you love your community, and I appreciate that because that's a huge thing. Not everybody knows how much work goes into it, so I want to thank you both and all of the members of the Community Association for that.
Thank you. One other thing to mention, we were meeting at Messiah Lutheran Church for several years. However, due to the construction at this point,
there's construction.
We have moved to the Reynoldsburg Visitors Bureau, which is at the back of the Heartland Bank, and we meet at 6:30, the second Thursday of every month. So, just to put that out to everyone,
you had to throw the Wagner Road out. As I said, only 449 days to go, so we're really making progress. So.
Phase 1.
Yes. Phase 1. Well, I appreciate it. You're more than welcome to.
No one participates. So, I don't know if we're going to continue that tradition or
we'll
not.
see if we can do it. I know we're already thinking about what our, I guess you could say that, we know it's going to be USA patriotic theme, but it's a question of what are we going to do for our stuff that we're doing for the city. So I know that's what we're doing right now. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Again, if you want to stay, you can. If not, by all means, thank you for coming and go about the fun things you've got going on today.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. All right, so all the other things going on, Reynoldsburg City Schools, obviously we've got a couple of cool things coming up here. They had their big graduation ceremony just last week, but we've got the board member office hours this Friday and every Friday from 4 to 5 at the Graham Road location. But we also have a couple of other cool things coming up. We have tomorrow night. If you're ready for a night of excitement, let me tell you, School Funding 101 at the Summit Campus. That is going to be something that'll be starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow night at the Summit Campus. You can register to go in and get an idea of how wonderfully complex and annoying school funding is and how it impacts everybody here. So I'm looking forward to the conversation. I'm planning on getting out there tomorrow night. We also have Raider basketball camp. I saw some ads for that coming out June 3rd through the 8th. June 16th, 17th through the 19th for 3rd through 8th graders. So that's always a good thing to do. Get those skills up. Congratulations to Andy Moore, who's now going to be the new athletic director for Reynoldsburg. So that's going to be a fun thing. And I know he's the boys basketball coach, so that's going to be, I'm sure he'll be there and enthusiastic to try and build that program along with all the other ones as well. We do have Wagner Road updates. Again, only 449 days to go for phase 1. What you're seeing out there is what they call underground boring for a water line. So they're literally, instead of opening up the ground and, as most people would say, opening up a hole, putting something out, filling it up, and then opening up the next day, they're doing what is called a direct bore. So they're actually going underground all the way to put in this new water line. So water line is one of the major components of this, so that way it actually is upgraded and it helps with the quality of our water and things of that nature. Right now, depending on where they're at working right now, is somewhere in between the Wagner Trails townhomes and Messiah. So they're right around in that particular area. So they're actually making pretty good progress so far, which is good. We've got Columbia Gas that's going to be out there next week. They're making sure that all their stuff is ready to go. AEP has been out there right now, so they're identifying where some of the power lines are going to be moved to and things like that. So all of that stuff is on track. So keep an eye out for that one. I did have one question earlier that's kind of ancillary related to this, talking about a list of streets that are going to be resurfaced this summer. Actually, Wagner Road is our major road project, so pretty much a majority of resources are headed over there. That being said, we do have a couple of alleyways that are going to be looked at. Hickory, Elm, Buckeye, and Cherry Alley, which is on the other side of French Run. That's going to be the one that's actually going to be kind of moved on. That was just taken care of. That'll be on the council's agenda, and some of those alleyways that definitely need work will be taken care of there. We also have some news on the CODA bus rapid transit. We know that there's going to be a ballot measure coming up in the fall on that one, but they are actually going to be coming out to some of our local businesses, specifically the ones up and down Main Street. They're going to be talking to them about how the BRT or rapid transit line is going to be able to benefit some of those individual businesses as well. Probably also going out all the way into the Etna Township world out there. So if we got any friends in Etna watching, hi. They'll be going out into that area as well, like the FedEx and things of that nature. We do have our next flood grant meeting on July 18th at the Reynoldsburg Library. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out in general, please at least come for this one. It's going to be a great meeting where we're going to get some good facts and figures on everything. Trust me, we'll have more advertising out as we get closer, but I just wanted to put it out there. As far as our parks program, we've got a couple of cool things. We've got our summer tennis program. It's Mondays and Wednesdays, June 1st, for first grade through adult, and it's on the Summit campus golf courses, or tennis courses. Sorry, we don't have golf here. Fairy Garden, Sunday, June 16th, from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Senior Center. So if you've ever seen those cute little fairy gardens that are out there, they're going to help some of these kids kind of design some of that stuff, and they're from the ages of 5 to 12. And then we have Kinder Music on the 29th. Activities like singing, dancing, instrument exploration, and all that, that's coming up tonight. That is actually tonight. So if you want to, if there's still space in there, I'd check on the Parks and Rec's Parks and Rec's line website. We also have our first Friday Food, Flicks, and Fun. This will be on June 7th at Huber Park, and the movie is going to be Migration. It's the animated film with the ducks that looks really, really funny, so that'll be there. There'll be a band ahead of time from 6 to 8:30. It'll be the GGAP band. And as always, sports, it's soccer season all over the place, so you'll see some Brazilian soccer camps coming up at Civic Park as well. And while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and break and answer a couple of other questions that we got submitted in, unless anything has popped up so far. Nothing? All right, so the first one, how many of those who are stopped during traffic enforcement days are Reynoldsburg residents? A majority of them, but we don't necessarily keep track of who does live in or without, but a majority of them are Reynoldsburg residents. And as we always say, a lot of times when people come and complain about people speeding through their neighborhood, sometimes it's their very neighbors that are the ones doing it. Will RPD do traffic enforcement in days in the afternoon or early evening? Yeah, that actually is kind of all the way throughout it. It's encompassed it. It just usually the posts come out earlier in the day because the people who are running RPD social media are there during the day. They don't really post anything in the evening. So that would be that. I have to get back on you on the tinting rules. I do know that the way that the tints, there is a certain shade that is legal versus illegal. It's just a question of what is going to have somebody stopped and pulled over for. Decision made on the construction signs, double fines, and reducing speeds. Right now, we're just working to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed to have that kind of documentation up there. Any updates on the PNC property and the Kroger space on Main Street? PNC, yes, that is going to be something that we'll be talking about next week. So tune in next week where we're going to have a big announcement on that one. Kroger, we're still waiting. We're hoping. We'll let you know. We don't really get a lot of contact with the owners on that one. There's also been some concerns from residents about the view on Lancaster and Main Street with the new building. Should the no turn on right during busy hours? Probably not going to happen, just because even if we put a sign there, no one's going to listen to it. So there is the turn arrow there, so you're only talking a very brief moment in time where you're not going to have access to turn all the way throughout. And then there's some other things talking about some of the trees and signage and things like that that's blocking, so trees and shrubs and things like that. You're supposed to have a rule where it's basically I think it's 7 feet tall, and then you're not supposed to have it, and it's higher up over there if it's overhanging on the street. If there are areas on that, I would recommend the Engage Reynoldsburg app to go ahead and report it, or you can go ahead and message us here at the city, and we'll get somebody out there. Most of the time, because of weather and because of the time of year, not everybody has gotten to that part. They're more concerned about their lawn specifically. But if somebody wants to plant trees in that, what is called the right-of-way in between the road and the sidewalk, they can do so. We just recommend that they actually look at some of the acceptable shrubs and trees that could be planted in that area, just so that way they're not planting something that's going to die ultimately. And then, of course, everybody's favorite conversation, fire hydrants. Yes, every year there's a section of the city that gets redone for fire hydrants. This year, you're looking at primarily the Huber Homes area, Briarcliff, and the Civic Park area, as well as Graham and Palmer are all targeted for this year. Others, if you see one that you think just really needs a little bit of tender loving care, again, I'd highly recommend that Engage Reynoldsburg app and just go ahead and set it up for there. And as of right now, there are no plans to do any of the painting on the streets specifically for it, because usually it becomes very difficult to get that out there as far as staffing, time commitment, and how long that does last. So that probably is not going to happen. And then as far as discussion on some of the pavement, the painting on the extremely faded road pavement markers, yes, it's all done by priority. So whichever one area has the most pedestrian traffic, that's the area that's focused on, and then it kind of moves down from there. So those are a bunch of questions. Got another one?
I have two. Are there any plans to pave Apple Alley or Beach Alley?
Apple Alley is on the list for next year as we do some other things. In Beach Alley, I have to check. I'm trying to figure out exactly where that one was.
Who should I contact regarding the signage near the new fire station on Taylor Road? There are no signs saying not to block the entry, exit, and no road markings either.
That's all on the way. It's just taking its time to get there. So they had to make sure they had got all of that other stuff taken care of. But we talked with the fire department. We were out there just the other day. So we'll have something out there so they don't block the intersection. My advice to you is never block the intersection, because whatever's coming out of the fire truck is probably bigger than your car, and you'll lose. So... All right, so other fun things we've got going on. I do have a question that you're going to see a lot. It's going to be in the Reynoldsburg Connects, hopefully, and then we'll have a kind of an online thing. We've had some requests for basically composting, food waste drop-off. And so we're thinking about having a site located here at City Hall where people who are interested in this aspect, that they could drop that information, drop that old food waste here specifically. We're not at a point where we can do like curbside pickup with something like that yet, but we wanted to know from you how many of you would participate if you would get rid of your food waste here at City Hall, as opposed to just throwing it in the trash in general. It's better for the environment, it reduces the overall trash intake and things of that nature. But I want to hear from you. Is this something that you would participate in? Would you want to learn more? Things like that. So as we kind of develop this program, we'll figure out exactly what that would look like and to make sure everybody in the residents in Reynoldsburg know about it. As I mentioned, the PNC site is going to be discussed next week. A lot of other things could happen between now and then. We'll just have to wait and see. Development is one of those things where I can go from, oh my goodness, I can't believe it's finally happening, to really it's not happening now in literally 20 minutes. So it just kind of depends. But as of right now, hopefully we'll have a good announcement for next week, maybe 2. We'll just have to wait and see. We do have our community garage sale weekend. That is May 31st through June 2nd. So that's this weekend. So for those of you that like to do the garage sale thing, you've got that on. Also want to shout out to the Reynoldsburg branch of the public library. So we have everybody's favorite, and everybody who knows me knows I love my t-shirts. We have our reading legacy. So basically, you're going to see this later on, basically an opportunity for people to do a little reading during the summertime. Primarily for kids, but at the same time, I think everybody should be open to it for a reading challenge. So the more books you read and things like that, the better off you are all the way around. And what better place to get those books than our new library, which again, I hope you get a chance to check out. If that's not necessarily there, you want something a little bit more active, we have a great thing for our age, anyone age 6 to 16. Former Raider and professional football player Rosie Nix is going to hold his football camp on June 29th from 10 to 2 at the Livingston campus. Hopefully by then we'll have a new football coach. I think we'll be getting that information hopefully soon as well, but that's going to happen on June 29th. We also have the Reynoldsburg Turo Historical Society Open House on Saturday, June 15th from 10 to 2. And as always, we're deep in preparation for the Tomato Festival. I believe the application period for all of the pageant positions is still open through the end of this week. So time is ticking away on that one. And then, as we mentioned earlier, Celebrate USA 2050 plans are underway. So we've got a lot of people that are participating in that. We've got some really good ideas, expanded fireworks program, all sorts of other fun stuff. And we got another question. Go for it.
Says, can you remind me when the path behind the new firehouse will be ready for use?
That's a really good question. It's supposed to be, right now what they're doing is they're doing the culverts, the area where they cross over some of the stream area and all of that. So I've not gotten an update recently, but I know that they had to get that stuff in place first, and then they'll grade it out. My guess is they want to get done before the end of the summer, if not earlier than that. So I would say probably before next school year, that particular part of the path should be open.
And any update on the park on Bryce Road?
Yes, and as you saw some things out there working right now, they've got the silk fencing up so they can get some of the pathway done. We know that now that the patio or the playground equipment has been ordered, we know when that is going to be delivered, so everything else kind of moves forward from there. And with that, you're going to see people out there more frequently going ahead and clearing out some things that are the, I guess you say, the invasive species, and then clearing ways to get ready for the path and the trail that will go all the way around. All right. As always, you're welcome to send those questions in. Obviously, got a lot of them from an individual, one of our big famous watchers on this one. So again, you can always send those things in ahead of time. I will make sure and get the tinting information for next time. I just didn't have a chance to talk to the chief yet. But next week we have, again, hopefully an exciting show and a first appearance for Reynoldsburg City Councilwoman Erin Hill from Ward 4. So this will be her first appearance on the show. So if you live on the Ward 4 area, which is basically, I guess you could say, everything kind of like the Bryce and Livingston area, a little bit over into, the area by, I guess you say, where the Kmart is, and that those are the typical areas for Ward 4. So if you're interested in hearing about what your member of council has to say about things, this is a great thing. I know we're going to talk to her about some great things when it comes to composting, because I know she's a big believer in that, so she'll be excited about that. With that, I bid you adieu. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. Stay safe, stay respectful, and as always, please put your shopping carts away. Thanks, everybody.